And WNBA refs need to be stopped. And I mean that, like, WNBA refs really, really need to be stopped. Like, they are so trigger happy with technical fouls, but like they will, like, they're simultaneously super trigger happy with tees, but yet they will allow, like, for lack of a better word, borderline assault. They will allow players to go out to hurt people, but they will not allow, under any circumstances, any sort of anything. Like, we've seen again, Elizabeth and Caitlin Clark get teed up. It's now a thing where if you punch the back post out of frustration, it's a technical foul. But, like, I don't know. Now you can't call and one. You can't scream and one. It's a technical foul. Like, Sophie Cunningham, with, 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, gets teed up for this. For screaming, call the foul. In fairness, she did say call the effing foul. That is worth a T. That is worth a T. I'll give her that. That's worth the T. With about 3 minutes to go. The next possession, she goes to the basket. She screams, I'm one, and then says something. And gets tossed out of the game. And this is, like, again, we have seen Kat Copper do the same thing to Lexi Hull. Screaming, you can't effing guard me. You can't effing guard me. At, at Lexi Hull. Nothing. And that's fine. That's fine, like. But yeah, you will literally get her tossed for that. Like, you'll see her get tossed for that, like, 3:33. She got tossed in 5 seconds for 2 different things. She got tossed in the same possession. Like, the same possession, for screaming in the face of Fee Collier, she goes and gets tossed. Like, yeah. And, like, it's the crazy thing is, like, they literally, half the Mercury team is, like, borderline on a suspension. And she's getting tossed for that. And it's like the W was way too quick to call Tex. I get it, 2 Tex on this one possession. She was fired up with good cause. The Bulls deliberately bounced the ball off her. In the same move 10 times. In the park, 5 turned into a fight. Like, she genuinely, like, I think it's just soft. It's just so soft. And that's the problem when it comes to the WNBA refs, is that, like, they are so soft with this, but, like, Caitlin Clark, 100, by the way, in, like, 90% of sports, Caitlin Clark yesterday, when she got up and stumbled after getting smashed in the head, is being told, concussion protocol, you're not going back in the game. Like, they will allow players to take people's heads off. No call. You try to trash talk. Bang. Nothing. Like, they are so trigger happy for some things. And it's like they're so trigger happy for hand checks, but, like, you can go for someone's head. You can go at someone's head in the WNBA and it's nothing. But, like, if you hand check somebody, it's a foul. Like, you can hug somebody off the ball, but, like, if you're being hugged and you nudge them off, it's an offensive foul. The amount of, like, ridiculous fouls called. Heck, I've seen them called Melissa Smith got called for an offensive foul for a flop inside the charge circle yesterday. Like, they are actually just pathetic. The refs are just pathetic. That's the only way. And, like, look, this is a situation where there are some basketball leagues where she would have got tossed for the first time. But it's like, you're out here tossing people for very little. You're tossing people for trash talk, and it's a continuation of what happened in the previous possession. So it's like, you toss someone for 2 separate techs, like, but don't give a single tech to the Lynx team, who are like jawing at her as well. And then the worst part is that, like, Sophie Cunningham gets thrown out for that. And then against the Fever, there was a whole bunch of people that were, like, in, like, kind of gone in. And she ran in, just swung a blind elbow and ran off. And she didn't get teed up. Like, there are times where Sophie Cunningham should have been tossed from games that the refs have just said, nah, that's good. They let her throw a blind elbow into a crowd of people against the Fever the first time they played. For nothing. Throw a damn blind elbow, one of those dangerous things you can do because you don't even know where you're swinging your elbow. Nothing. trash talk after an and one, you're gone. And like, that's the big problem with these refs, is it's like, it's not that they're bad. It's like they're so inconsistently bad. They're not unfair either. Like, and again, it's not even a situation like Angel Reese is incredibly hard to referee because she just jumps through people and throws the ball at the basket. Like, you don't know what she's doing, and like, when players are in legal guarding position, she's just throwing her whole body through them, and sometimes they like move slightly, but it's like natural body instinct when someone's throwing their body through you to move. So you're like, I understand referees maybe not giving her the best whistle in the world. A'ja Wilson has the best whistle in the entire WNBA. And I do think, again, like, Sophie Cunningham's not the hill to die on. Like, she's someone that could very easily be tossed from 9 times out of 10. But like, still, you're going to let some people play on an edge. You're going to let people go out there and try to hurt people. But like, this is what's being tossed. Like, you're getting tossed like this, but like, you're letting Alyssa Thomas almost blow out Kennedy Carter's knee. You're letting Alyssa Thomas choke slam Angel Reese. You're letting Kennedy Carter cheap shot Caitlin Clark. You're letting Alyssa Thomas nearly break Caitlin Clark's jaw yesterday for common fouls. Like, this is the problem where it's like, oh, we're this tough league. It's not a tough league. It's a badly refereed league. It's players realizing the referees will let them hurt people. But yet, if you question a referee, like, the amount of times that we've seen this happen, a ridiculously bad call be made, a player get teed up for arguing the call, a challenge being made, the call being reversed, and the player still getting teed up. Like, players, I'd say a player will get chucked from a game from that at some stage. We saw Angel Reese getting chucked for no reason earlier in the year. Like, for no reason at all earlier in the year, we see her get chucked. And I'm watching these games, and I'm like, this is the worst standard refereeing. And look, I've coached in the Irish Superleague. And as bad as the Irish Superleague refereeing is, there are some good refs there. The Irish National League is the worst standard refereeing I've ever seen until I watched the WNBA. Like, these refs are worse. Some of these refs get 180 grand a year. Some of these refs get paid 180 grand a year. And every single team are like, you know it's bad when both sides feel the referees are screwing them. Because the referees, I'm not joking, legitimately, I don't know if they know what they're doing. They care more about their perceived authority than refereeing a game, than making sure the game doesn't get out of control, and it's destroying the game.